sweeping through the city. Oh yeah, where my captain has gone, and we're gonna sit out by the bay.
Let's look at Matthew the 13th chapter. And I've read this multiple times, but the Father, the Spirit, the Ruach is giving me insight, and I see it like I have never seen it before. And I comprehend it, and I want us to comprehend this as well. The 13th chapter of Matthew, and we're going to start at the 44th verse. The 44th, the 45, and 46, really all the way to 52, but we may not cover all of that for time. Matthew the 13th chapter, starting at the 44th verse. It says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man had what? Found, he hid it, and for joy thereof goeth and sell all that he had and buy that field. Mm-hmm. Is that the same thing that Paul done? Mm-hmm. So when we really understand and we made the transition from the traditional standpoint of Sunday worship, and we found out the Sabbath is the day that God respectfully had a respect of, because he was Lord of the Sabbath. Mm-hmm. And so when we found out that it's all in Scripture, that God even put it in creation, Genesis 2:2, that he what? He rested the seventh day and separated and sanctified it, which means separated from the rest of the day. When God thought enough of this day, that he sanctified it and separated it. So when we found out that this is actually the day, we done what? We sold out.
And let it all go.
You can have that, because this is the truth. So this is like the treasure that's in the field, and when you find it, you give up all to follow after him. It is a distinction of the separating of God's people from the world.
The whole world. This is where you're different.
Can we see? Can we see that?
Oh yeah. This is where you're different.
Look at the 45th verse. This is going along the same manner. It just repeats the same thing in another way. Again, we're talking about the mysteries of what? The kingdom of heaven.
The kingdom of heaven.
Because 44 started off like that. Look at 45. Again, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who, when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it.
Sold everything.
Sold it all. Why? He recognized that this is the true calling. This is what God, this is what Yeshua really it meant for us to be an example of the Son of God. Not having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. That's not what it's about.
No.
Look at, let's back up Matthew the 7th chapter. And I want you to get what I'm saying about all of the references when he was talking about live flock, and he's making differences about selling out. Let's look at Matthew the 7th chapter, 13 and 14 verse. We already kind of quoted it, but let's look at it. Mm-hmm. It says, enter ye in at the what?
Straight
Gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the way that what? Leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thither. Thereat. 14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the what?
The way.
Which leadeth unto life. And how many?
Few.
How many is few?
Few can be 2 or 3.
That's right.
Okay. Is that a representation of little flock? Few there be that findeth it. It's just like the merchant that findeth it. And when you find it, then you sell out. Look at, let's go to Matthew, the 18th chapter. Another scripture that kind of, 18:18. That kind of fortifies what we're talking about. So this is why we don't get confused with the numbers. What God told us here, I'm after discipleship, not membership. The traditional church goes after members because members means dollar bills. But disciples is who Jesus went after. 18:18 says, Verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Again I say unto you, that if 2 of you shall what?
Shall agree
on earth as what? Touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. Look at 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my midst, in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Live life. 2 or what? 3. And this is what? In red. This is things that Jesus is saying. He's given emphasis to let you understand it's not in the masses.
Amen.
It's not in the majority. I came to do my Father's will, and my Father's will that I might not lose not one, that in the last days there will be a remnant that will be restored back to my Father. Because Thessalonians said, for the mystery of iniquity, there's a mystery also of iniquity that do it already work. The devil has been working thousands of years to muddy up the scriptures, to take scriptures out of the Bible, to do all kind of things to cause the people of God to not find their way.
Yes, Lord.
So he deceived the whole world right in the church.
Yes, there you go.
And we're still waiting, well, the church is still waiting to be deceived. And they are already deceived.
Yeah. A lot of the church is in the church, and they're deceived because they have been, the words have been muddied up, that they think that they're doing what God called them to do, and they're not. Because Proverbs says there's a way that seemeth right to a man, but at the end is what? Destruction. The mystery of iniquity. That's part of the devil's work.
So, Pastor, as you are reading 18, 19, and 20, you said this is an example of the few that find their way
Find this
on the
treasure.
narrow path.
Find the treasure, yeah.
That if 2 of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. That is not a question.
No,
if.
it is a statement.
It is definite.
We got to make the what? Qualifications.
Pastor, I'm saying that because I've been landing and settling right there. That I can ask anything according to his will, believe it, and receive it. That's not a maybe or a might.
Amen.
The other day, we had a prayer for some things that we asked God for, and we were agreeing, and then we touched in the spirit, and I settled that. I want you to know the evidence of it almost manifested immediately.
All right.
You weren't gone 5 minutes.
Really?
Hear me.
Okay.
And I'm saying that because I hear the Lord say in my spirit that it is a definite. Get up there, by.
Okay.
It shall happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I heard my first lady say, if you ask anything in my name, I will do it. 14 and 14. St. John 14 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
See, what I want us to get, if we don't get nothing, to those of us that have come to the place of following the law, no matter who don't believe it, no matter who is questioning it, no matter what any man thinks about it, I'm saying that I have come in and settled at this point. How long I've lived beneath my privilege.
Okay.
So good.
That I have worried needlessly. There's a song that, oh, what needless pains we bear. All because we really don't take it to the Lord in prayer. We don't really take it and leave it there. We walk away with it. We bring it to him and take it with us. And we scratch it and we worry and we bother. We're not sleeping. We sick.
I know
we
it's true.
this. And it's a trick
It
and
is
a
not the
lie.
Father's will.
It is not the truth.
No.
He has said very clearly, we're not worried who
God
said
is
this.
good.
This is in red.
Mm-hmm.
He's good.
Touching.
Well, bless him.
You agree and you touch.
Yes.
And you pray according to his will. You can call it done while you're waiting for it to manifest. You can
Right.
call it done.
Call it done by faith.
And I told my granddaughter and I told my daughter. I encouraged her. My daughter said some things to me that she needed God to do. And I see her slacking. And I'm telling her, keep coming.
Oh, God.
You started.
Can't give up right
You
here.
got to the answer.
Lord.
You got to the place where you needed to get. And I need, Mommy, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard, but you can do it.
Oh, it's doable.
I say, I'm
See,
your
that's
cheerleader.
right.
I need you to keep running after God. I need you to keep it up because the devil gonna show you why you can't. How come you can't? Don't you feel this? See that? You heard that? That is his job.
He have every reason and excuse to give us, but we have to eliminate the noise, and we got to stay close. That we be not like the sheep. Because it's the sheep that's on the outside of the herd that the wolf grabs.
It is.
It's the sheep that's hanging out.
Hanging out.
And that's what we have to do as you're doing. Continue to encourage them, because the Bible even says that every now and then one is lost, and he leaves the 99.
And go after.
And he go after
the
one that's lost.
Yeah.
And that's the crucialness of, once we get them in to understand what the truth is, then we got to keep prayers in their back, and we got to be that good
So
shepherd.
good.
Pastor, if you will allow me, I'm hearing God in my spirit.
Oh, thank
You said it earlier, here at United. God told us, he said, I've got you.
you. Yes.
How long did he tell us? I've
Over,
got
over,
you.
over.
Years.
I need you to go after
After my
my sheep.
How
That
about
Don't worry about
you.
what's coming against you. He settled it. He told us, I need to give you something in exchange.
change? Right.
You think you know something, but I got something else
Right.
to help you where you don't know.
Whoa,
So I'm
that's so
saying
true.
this.
It's so true.
I'm saying it. We've got to settle it.
Yes.
God made some promises,
Yes.
and He is a promise keeper. If we do what He tells us to do,
Well, that's the truth.
He is going to be faithful to do what He said He was going to do.
Well,
Amen.
it's the truth.
Let's exchange,
Amen.
and He's going to take care of the rest.
Yes,
Amen.
it
Yes,
is.
he is. So true.
I promise
I
you.
enjoyed it, and I remember as it was yesterday.
Yes.
Look at Matthew, the 13th chapter and the 10th verse, and this is a familiar scripture that God has had us to go over many times in our research and studying and understanding and coming to see the difference why the traditional church have a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, and according to John 6 and 44, that no man can come unto me except the Father that sent me draw him. So that scripture in itself lets you know that there are some people that will not come no matter how much word is preached, no matter how much word is given to them, they will not come. And with God, it was by design. That might sound like it's a little heavy there. It's by design. Well, let's see what the scriptures say.
10.
Matthew 13 chapter and the 10th verse. This is the reason for the parables, that Jesus always spoke in parables to the multitudes, and without parables he didn't speak to them. And the 10th verse says this: and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mystery of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is what?
Not given.
Is that a separation?
It is.
Who said it?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Is he a respected person?
Well, yeah.
It's deeper than the surface.
The person is just speaking.
So he spoke in parables. I'm going to give you a little insight. He spoke in parables things that was commonly in their era, in their time, that it was
something that they
was familiar with. But when they the disciples got with him and they asked him, why are you always speaking in parables? In other words, why you don't just speak plainly? Everybody say the mysteries
The mysteries
of the kingdom.
of the kingdom
So
of heaven.
some of them that was listening was hirelings. They was trying to get what they can get. They really wasn't about the kingdom of God, what he was preaching. They was about the fishes and the loaves.
Tell the whole truth.
So he spoke in parables. He didn't want them to get what he was saying.
Yep.
Because their motive and their intent was not true.
All right.
It was not pure. But those that was really trying to live right, then when he got with his disciples, he said, it's for you to know. So then he gave it to them plain, flat on the ground.
Yeah. For you to know.
But there was a lot of them out there that, not for them to know.
It's the only seed on them.
Right, it's unfertile ground.
All right, let's go a little further.
Hard ground.
And we still reading a lot of stuff that Jesus said. "12. But whosoever had, to him shall be what? Given. Whosoever had understanding." I'm going to add that in now, so I want you to really understand what we're saying. "For whosoever had, to him shall be given." Had understanding. "And he shall have more abundance." So the disciples had understanding.
Right.
Because he made sure they understood.
Yes.
And they want to have more abundance because he's going to make sure they got it. But whosoever had not what? Did not have understanding. From him shall be taken away even that he had. So the little understanding that they had, because you don't do nothing with what you have, God said, even that I'm going to take.
The proof of the truth is what you do.
This is what
Yeah.
Jesus was saying to his disciples. So even that, you don't do what you need to do with the understanding that you have. You know what's right, but you ain't doing what's right. God said to him is what? Sin. So then judgment start coming. Look at 13. "Therefore speak to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they what?
Understand.
And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of who? Isaiah, which said, by hearing," and he's talking about the children of Israel, because they was rebelling against God's commandments, statutes, and dietary law. They went their own way. He says, "And in them it is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which said, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand. And seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people heart is waxed what? Gross. And their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have what? Closed. Lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and shall be what? Converted. And I should heal them." In other words, God's saying that some of them I don't want to heal, and it's not for me to heal them, because if they really heard what I said, then they would change. But it's not for them to follow me, because this derives from the first earth age when they fought against me in eternity. And it's not for them.
Wow.
You are of your father,
The
the
devil.
devil. You are the lineage of Cain. Why you don't understand? Jesus said to the scribes and the Pharisees, why you don't understand my words?
Because you are of your father.
So there is a representation of people that is of the lineage of Cain.
That's right.
And they don't know.
Lord Jesus.
They don't perceive. They see and see not, hear and they hear not, neither do they understand. God said, because if they really see and hear, then they will be converted, but it's not for them.
They would
Is
change.
that amazing? Is that
They would change.
wow?
They will change. So, is God a God of what?
Or respect the person?
Because he know everything. He know what we don't know, and he know what took place in eternity in the first earth age that we are not privy of, and he is justifiably making this choice.
Woo. Now that's something I've never. What a twist. That's heavy.
Yeah, I know. I tell you, we're going to get kind of deep. We got our boots on. Some may understand him, some may not, but we cannot fret. Somebody help us with the time. I don't want to go too far. It's almost time, okay. Let's further what we're saying. Let's go to, we stay in Matthew, the 13th chapter, but let's go to the first verse. We're still talking about the parables, right? And this one says the parable of the sower. And then when we read these 9 verses, we're going to switch over to 18 to 23. That's going to explain the parable. Okay. And so this is letting you know that what all that we've been talking about is going to give some more further explanation. Yeah. 13 and 1. The same day went Jesus out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no depthness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched. And because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. Everybody say, but others fell.
But others fell
into good ground. And brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who has ears to hear, let him hear. So let's talk a little bit about this 8th verse. A 100-fold, some 60-fold, and 30-fold. Because we're dealing with a little flock, I would love for us to be 100% of us would follow in the example of Jesus. That means everybody in here. He also said what? A third is going to make it. So that lets you know that sometimes it's going to be 60-fold. He also let us know 2 or 3. If there be 2 or 3. If it's 2 or 3, and all 3 of them following the example, that's what? 100-fold.
100%. That's right.
But there might be a number of 40 or 50. And he said what? 60%. So he's letting you know that everybody is going to receive this word and understand it and live thereby. It falls all the way down to 30%.
It falls all the way down to 2 or 3.
I know, but I'm saying 2 or 3 can be 100%. But when the church gets bigger, then it goes 60 and it goes even down to what? 30%. So I'm letting you understand what the scripture, what Yeshua is saying. This is in red. He's letting you know that this is not for everybody. It's not for the majority.
God help us.
Okay, let's look at the soul explained. And I'm not trying to be popular. I'm not trying to appease. I'm giving you what the words say. The parable of the soul explained. Okay, the 18th verse, and we're going to go to the 23rd. It says, "Hear ye therefore the parable of the soul. When any one heareth the word of the kingdom, and understands it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside." You see it being explained? 20. "But he that receives the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy received it." In other words, he received it, he heard it, and he was happy for the truth.
But since
21.
Yet
had he not root in himself, but dureth for a while, for when tribulations or persecutions arise because of the what? Word. Trying to stay with the word. By and by, he is offended. Is that understood?
yes.
they don't last long.
22. "He also that receiveth seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the what? Cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful." He gets sold out.
For the money.
So no good.
Like the people sent me a letter coming, they can give me anything I want. That was my opportunity to sell out.
For a price.
For real.
Too
Anything
much.
and everybody
Cost too
you
much.
want to
Give money
room.
to come back.
You say cost too much.
Price to it.
Yeah. Not for sale. Sorry, Charlie. 23.
Darkest don't want tuna.
Well, a
A
whole
lot. They want to taste it.
"But he that receiveth seed into the what? Good ground is he that heareth the word and understands it." Now what did Jesus said about he that in 13 and 10, he that understandeth, to him more abundant shall be what? Given. So this is the person that understood it. And understand it, which also bear fruit, and bring it forth some 100, some 60, some 30. Is that
Say it
plain?
again.
That is.
Now, before it got another explained, and it goes further, but I want to give this one as our last one. We're going to conclude on this one. This is just two verses, and I'm gonna conclude here. This is the 31st verse and the 32nd verse of Matthew, the 13th chapter, same 13th chapter. So we're gonna go 31 and 32. Talking about the mustard seed. We're still talking about little flock. We're still talking about two or three small things. Narrow is the way that leadeth to righteousness. I just want us to see, that Sandra said, small things. Don't get caught up in the big things. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in the field, which indeed is the what? Least of all, because it's the smallest. But when it groweth, it is the greatest among herbs, and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. We got to mature. We small, but as we adapt to the word and being the example of Yeshua, and we walking in his footsteps, what he did, we can do.
Well, God bless him.
Great works have he done. Great works have I done, but greater shall what ye do. And this is what God was giving me, talking about truth, talking about coming, finding out the kingdom of heaven. It's in mysteries, and it's gonna be revealed. And this is how you will not just read this and perceive it, and the Spirit of God, the Ruach, as I read it and stuff, and he just give me explanation in quiet time, and then I write, and I just go according as what he give me, because I'm not here to say that of my own self. This is not. Timothy says, study to show yourself approved, a workman rightly dividing the word of truth unto God. Not to myself, not to somebody else, but take it back to him. And he said, he will give you to understand. This is the relationship. This is the communication that every last one of us should have with the Spirit. And this is how we are learning. This is our Bible study. We will continue. There's much, much more. But truth in these ending days, this is what God has given us to perceive and understand and learn how to exercise and walk therein, that we might practice what it is we find out to be true. Amen.
I just wanted to read one thing. Some of my favorite scripture in Isaiah 40. We were talking about God being a God of a respected person or not, and I just thought I would read Isaiah 40. It is starting at the 28th verse to the end. It says, "Hast thou not known, and hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, he fainteth not, neither is weary.
All right.
There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the young shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fail. But they that wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." Main scripture was the first one. Understanding, and that there's no searching of his understanding. We won't always understand everything about God.
Yeah.
To say whether or not he is God of a respected person. But at the same time, he's just God, and we have to accept him for just being God, that he knows everything, and our little faint understanding will never really comprehend all that God does.
You cannot put God on the same level as us. We know it's not good for us to be respected persons, so we try to help God out and try to say God is not a God of respected person. He is, because he know everything,
right?
And he know how to choose. But we don't, so we can't put God in the same place as us. Amen. We thank God.